Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. It's Sunday evening. We're getting ready for the work and the school week and all that good stuff. And I'm meteorologist Matt Wintz here with your region weather live here tonight. Thanks for kind of adjusting and sliding that time for me here tonight. I know you guys usually don't care, but I had the wonderful privilege of going to the Cleveland Guardians game this evening, and we got to clinch the Central Division, and it was just wild. Took all the kids there as well. It was a really good time over at the ballpark, and so we just got the kids. I just got the kids to bed, and I thank my wife with the newborn who stayed here and obviously took care of business. But man, a lot of excitement in our household here tonight. All right, let's dive into the forecast. We'll say hi to our early birds here, and then obviously we've got some sponsors to thank as well. Very active pattern across the tropical Atlantic, as we've been talking about for weeks. That once we got into late September, early October, we're expecting things to heat up. It's been so quiet, but things obviously active out there. Otherwise, there's not a lot of weather locally. So what I'm going to spend my time talking about is long range. What happens in October? What are we expecting? Where are we going to go the first 10, 15 days of October weather-wise? That's what we'll take a look at, because if you're joining me here tonight, you're not joining because you have weather concerns this week, as we have a very quiet pattern, as you saw in our post earlier. All right, we'll say hi to our early birds in a second. We'll let a few more people join here. I'll get through our wonderful sponsors. Again, all these sponsors are local to Northwest Indiana, family-owned businesses. I would put my name behind any of them. They do great work, all five-star reviews. So please, if you need any of these things in these different trades, please reach out to them and help them out. All right, Earl's Heating and Air Conditioning. It's getting into furnace season around here, believe it or not. If your AC still needs a tune-up, if it's on the fritz, or maybe you're looking to replace AC furnace or just furnace heading into the wonderful cold months around Northwest Indiana, let Earl's do the job for you. It's earlsheating.com. They are local to Hobart, servicing, or they're local, to the Sherrillville area, but they serve Lake and Porter counties since 1976. You guys, that's so long. earlsheating.com is the website to go to there. All right, PSA, our public service adjusters. It's publicserviceadjusting.com is the place to go. Those are kind of in-between folks that if you have an insurance claim, you don't go to your insurance company first. You go to them first at publicserviceadjusting.com. They'll send someone out. They're amazing. They'll document everything, package it up, and send it to your insurance company, and they'll deal with your insurance company. All right. They won't get shortchanged. They don't take no for an answer. They do amazing work. They get you top dollar, and you don't have to deal with the callbacks and, oh, well, we need more proof of this. And no, you don't deal with that. Publicserviceadjusting.com, the place to go there. Romans Roofing, local to Hobart, servicing all of Northwest Indiana, providing retail and storm restoration options for what? Roofs. But they don't just do your roof. They do siding, windows, gutters, all that stuff. Make sure your home is locked in as we have these cold months out ahead of us. Let Romans do the work for you. All inspections and estimates are free. RomansRoofing.net, or call them 219-838-9111. Halcyon Water Solutions, let them be basically you're drinking water from your house all the time, right? You want to make sure that water's clean. Let them be the source to make sure you have the highest quality water that you're drinking. They have exceptional service all across Northwest Indiana. They do things like water softeners, filtration. They can deliver the salt for you, maintenance. They've got all your water needs covered. Just give them a call at 866-97-WATER to schedule your free in-home water analysis today. They'll test your water. I love the science part of it. They'll tell you what's in it, the good and the bad, the ugly, and they'll tell you how to take care of it. All right. Halcyon Water Solutions. Minogue.life. Michael Minogue is in the world of life insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. He does an amazing job. He knows his stuff. He's already studying the laws that go into effect next year. It's like this thick, the book that he has to go through. But he warns us if there's anything that you signed up for via your plan on phone or online even, you might not know what benefits you have, and you're probably not using all of your benefits. You could be getting a lot more out of your plan than what you're getting. Let him go over your plan with you, tell you what you're spending too much for, what you need, what you don't need. He can go through all that for free with you, which is a huge help, and let you know exactly what you're getting out of it and what you're not getting out of it. Or maybe you're paying too much for whatever it happens to be, whether it's life insurance or one of your plans. But let him sort that out for you. Free consultations. Come and go sit in his office. He's a nice guy. He likes coffee too. Again, Minogue.life is the website. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. She is your local lender for all your mortgage needs. If you are looking for a new house, dream house, starter home, if you're looking to refinance as the Fed, lowered the rates, we'll get some better rates here soon. But if you're looking for anything like that, let Kate be your go-to for anything in the world of real estate. She's amazing. This is her season. She's in her best mood in the fall because she likes pumpkin spice lattes. That's what she says. So you want to get her in her best mood because she'll get that house for you like that. All right, and she'll do the job. All right, Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. Obviously, I'm off script with her. TigerPlumbing.net, the place to go if you need a plumber. You guys all know Tiger Plumbing. They're amazing. They're great. They come out for free, which is crazy this day and age. TigerPlumbing.net for all your plumbing needs. FBIBuildings.com if you need a new pole barn constructed, whether it be residential or commercial. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest, and they do an amazing job. You should check out their Facebook page. Their construction's amazing. These structures, I want to live in all of them. But if you're looking for that for your commercial property, or maybe you have a pole barn that was constructed by someone else, maybe you moved into a property with one that needs renovating, they'll do that too. FBIBuildings.com. TNT Tree Service, that's our tree taker downers, all right? And they do amazing work. They're super professional, which I like. They do the job well. They clean up. You won't even know they're there. If you have a tree, I know we haven't had a lot of wind, but if you have a tree that's on the fritz, maybe looking kind of Halloweenish that you need to take down, it's close to some wires, they'll do all that for you. Again, the website's ttreeservice.com. That's 3 T's, ttreeservice.com. Or you can give them a call, 219-300-6256. They have a lot of amazing work that they have done, especially recent storm damage over the summer and stuff like that. But reach out to them if you need that done. We've got Great Lakes Lighting. Be the envy of your neighborhood with expertly placed outdoor lighting. Not only enhances your landscape design, your pumpkins, your witches, your ghosts that you have up right now. It does that, but it also enhances security on your property as well. Let them place the lighting on your property, make it all timed up and looking good. You don't have to worry about a thing. You won't even recognize your house with good lighting on it. Great Lakes Lighting, the place to go. Their website is lightupnwi.com or Great Lakes Lighting over on Facebook. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. They do amazing work in the community, and they sell great cars, and it's hassle-free. They don't hound you for stuff. They'll let you pick the car that you want and give you a great deal on it. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. All right, let's join our early birds here, and we'll get the show on the road. We've got Joey on board. Joey, hello. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I appreciate you being first on board. You were fast with that. Mary's with us tonight. Hi, Mary. Lynn's with us as well. Deshawn is with us. Hi, Deshawn. Danielle, good evening to you. Wendy, good evening. Teresa's joining us from Crown Point. We've got Jeff on board tonight. Mary says, love the baby's new name. Yeah, if you guys saw the drama in our family, it wasn't drama. So, we had obviously the birth of our fourth son, fifth kid last Friday night, late at night. So he's a week old now. And we named him Boone. Here's the deal. My wife and I were out of boy names. All right. And we had a girl name picked out for 9 years, and we keep having boys, and we don't find out ahead of it. And so when we had a boy, we're like, we knew it. We knew it was going to be a boy. What are the odds, right? They weren't 50-50. They're probably 80-20 in our lineage here. But anyway, so, you're sleep deprived after the first night, and then they're asking, you need a name, and we should have had one picked out in advance, but we didn't. We were kind of between two, and they say, you can't leave the hospital until you fill it out on the paper and pick out a name. And so we're like, all right, let's think about this. And we're between two, and then we picked Boone, which is fine. And then we got home, and, we spent a week with this baby child, and you look at him in the eyes because it's all you do besides feeding. And we're just like, it's not Boone. All right, this isn't Boone. So we renamed him Embry, which was our other name. So Embry Matthew after my name. My whole family has, dad's name as a middle name. So we did that. And so we're like, he's definitely an Embry. So we have an Embry now. And so I had to post, I mean, being in the public eye, you want to let people know things. And so I had to post about it. I'm like, well, this is kind of awkward. We changed his name, but it's amazing the response that I got on that post. So many people have been in that situation before where you feel pressured and you don't need to have pressure. And thankfully, we didn't have to change anything birth certificate wise or anything like that. They said, hey, we didn't submit it yet. You should never feel pressured. You have 30 days, I think, to do it. They were just kind of in a hurry at the hospital, not to their fault or anything. But anyway, so we changed the name. Long story short, that's what we did. So, but I found out a lot of people have done that in the past, which was very reassuring. So thank you, Mary. Long story short, thank you for that. Derek went camping over the weekend. Deshawn likes the backdrop. Deshawn's liking the old fireplace here. We've got this region weather sign, which is on the fritz because my lights around it are just going. I don't pretend to keep things pretty around here. We really don't. It's fine. Deshaun went to the Railcats game. Awesome. Yeah, good weather. Mark's with us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, Mark. I think that's new for you. Appreciate that. Big Shield blocking the Hurricanes. Derek, we're going to talk about it. Susan, you're not late. We had to get through our sponsors. We're good. John says, great night tonight. Absolutely. Deshaun likes the mustache. Thank you. My wife still won't look at me. We'll see what happens. Don, born on your birthday. Awesome. Happy birthday last Friday. And finally, Ann is here on our YouTube channel from Maryville. All right, we'll get started. I've wasted enough of your time. Always want to get to the content as quick as possible, but I go on tangents. So there's that. Hope you guys are doing well, first and foremost. Very quiet weather locally. So here's what we're dealing with right now. Big old blocking high pressure to our north. We've got a pattern that's stuck right now. And I mentioned last week, this pattern is stuck. There's a couple reasons. Jet stream buckles, which it's been doing recently, and that happens, especially this time of year. But more importantly, and I've mentioned this in the past, years when I teach weather, hurricanes are very strong systems, right? They're literally very deep areas of low pressure, like very powerful areas of low pressure. And there's not pressures that are that deep around. And so what happens is that thing just rules the atmosphere. Wherever that hurricane is, everything around it just has to stop and kind of wait for it to do its thing. And so we've got Humberto out here. We've got Imelda down in the Caribbean. But you can see just how massive this system is. This is a major hurricane. It continues to, I think winds are 145 right now. I mean, it's an incredible storm. It is. It's out in the ocean, big old waves, but thankfully not affecting anyone except for, the boating and the shipping industry. They obviously have to go around this thing and flights as well. But everything's waiting for this. And so the pattern that we have is kind of waiting on both these tropical systems to clear on out of here. And it's going to be a couple days. And so as a result, you typically get a lot of sinking air around the outside of tropical systems because they have to vent and breathe and that air sinks around it. And so we're kind of stuck in that pattern here locally where we just have beautiful weather. It's just sunshine after sunshine every single day. We have pretty warm temps as well. Tomorrow's going to be another warm day and nothing really coming at us. I know it looks like this is coming at us from the west. We'll get some high clouds off of that, but that's about it. We don't have any rain in the forecast this week. And that's pretty evident. So here's a closer look at both tropical systems, obviously the king, and then obviously, the not quite as strong storm system. This is Humberto right now, major hurricane. Yeah, winds are at 145 still. It's moving northwest at 13. But bottom line, this thing, here's Bermuda right here, right? It's going to miss Bermuda, but they're going to have big waves. I mean, they're just waiting to get hit every single year. They're just out in the middle of where all the storms go. But this is going to start to curve as it gets cut up in a trough. And then here's Imelda. Imelda has been all over the place in the modeling because the modeling has to handle both these storms and kind of how they interact with each other. There was something that is called the Fujiwara effect, which was expected to sling this system in. It's very complicated when we get two powerful low pressures like that. But Imelda is not going to get crazy strong because Humberto is taking all the strength, all right? We can't have two powerhouse storms next to each other because one will absorb the other. And so what we're going to see is Humberto is going to start to move out with the trough, and then Imelda is going to follow the path of least resistance. So it's going to follow where that low pressure center goes. And so it's going to kind of say, all right, you lead the way, and then I'll go. And they're both going to follow the same direction. Imelda is going to kind of dance around Bermuda. That could be more of an impact to them. To be honest, here in Northwest Indiana, does anyone really, I'm not saying do we care about Bermuda, but like, you don't care about the weather in Bermuda, so I'm not going to cover it a whole lot, but they could be impacted by that, just so you know. And then here's kind of big picture look at how this evolves. All right, here's the two out in the Atlantic, kind of interesting how they go. See how this low kind of becomes kind of a singular low. And I was with our team of meteorologists earlier, and one of our meteorologists was pointing out that even on radar, what the models are picking up on is this band of rain and storms that connects the two and develops, which is crazy meteorologically, that they're going to actually connect. And it's like two separate beings that kind of become one. They kind of hold hands for a little bit. And Humberto says, come on, Imelda, we're going this way. Anyway, you see how they stay mainly offshore. There'll be some rain, areas of the Carolinas. There'll be big waves. The swells will be really kicking up with rip currents up and down the eastern seaboard. But they head on out, and you can see how they head out pretty quickly. And then what I always find interesting meteorologically is that Humberto is going to head out towards areas of Great Britain as a powerful storm. It'll become extratropical, but it'll have a ton of wind energy with it. So they're going to get rocked by that. Meanwhile, Imelda gets kind of caught in the dust here as a high pressure sneaks in. And so we'll have to keep an eye on perhaps Imelda will stop and then come back at the U.S. We don't know. It's too far out. But anyway, that's what's going on in the tropics. What about here locally? I'm going to let this run the next 2 days. There you go. Nothing. There's nothing. It's a temperature story. Tonight down near 60, and then tomorrow, look at the HER tomorrow, bringing us up mid to upper 80s tomorrow. I've got us at 85 or 86, I think. I'll have to check. Not that it matters. 85 or 86 tomorrow, I think ought to do it. It's going to be hot tomorrow, though. There's not a lot of super high dew point air with this. Notice how we kind of bring in this little pocket of drier air aloft. There will be more humidity near the lakeshore tomorrow, though, which is interesting. So if you're, heading out to the beach, collect some shells, or just maybe put a chair down in the sand for a little bit just to catch the last couple of days of warmth here before we hit October. Not a bad day to do it. It's going to be a little bit more humid there. So let's focus on long term. So when do things change around here? So here's the upper air track. All right, this is where your jet stream is, right where these colors kind of change from, the warmer to the cooler colors there. And watch how this big ridge just develops. This is a huge ridge, all right? This ridge keeps us dry. This ridge provides nice, beautiful weather. There's a giant high pressure that comes in from Canada later this week. This high is going to do a couple things for us. It's going to keep the dry weather coming, but more importantly, it's going to kind of squish the heat a little bit. And the reason why is we're going to bring this flow out of the northeast, so almost like a backdoor front will come through where we're replacing the air. I'll kind of show you the difference here. So here's what we're dealing with right now. We've got a general kind of wind that's not moving a whole lot, and this heat's allowed to build, right? It's been building every day. It's been getting warmer. But then this high comes in, and this actually pushes some cooler air from the north in. Still going to be warm, but it will get cooler midweek without really much happening weather-wise. You might wonder, why is it 5-10 degrees cooler? It's because of this high off towards the north. It's going to kind of refresh our air a little bit. It'll bring in low humidity as well. And then next week, this is Friday, this is Saturday, into Sunday, you see how we start to get some troughiness across the U.S., and then we get this pattern moving again where we've got these big undulating swings of up and downs, and that's coming our way mid-October. So what's that mean weather-wise? Well, let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in a little bit better for us here. As we go through time, again, dry Monday, dry Tuesday, dry Wednesday, dry Thursday, dry Friday, and then this weekend into early next week. This is Monday, Tuesday, says the Euro. We'll get a weak front that settles south, not a lot of moisture with it. But that front is going to kind of set up the next kind of string of storm systems. That front will settle, and then the following week we'll get a front that actually breezes west to east, and you can see how that kind of comes in with some rain chances before maybe some kind of stronger front gets in here the following weekend. So we're talking not next weekend, but the weekend after that before we get some kind of cold front in here, all right? And that cold front does look to do a number perhaps on our temperatures. We were looking at about a week and a half ago, a cold shot of air coming in here, and I saw a lot of it on social. We did not post anything on it, but there was a lot of quick clickbait out there. And again, doesn't matter if you're clicking on this stuff and you're not buying it, but you're looking at it. That's great, all right. But there's a lot of clickbait on there on this cold snap. If you go back on some of these pages or whatever you get your weather information, and you look, a lot of people were saying first blast of winter, feeling cold, wind chills in the 30s, October 3rd, 4th, 5th. Where did it go? This is why we don't post stuff like that, right? It's not credible. We're going to be in the 80s October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There is no cold shot anymore. It showed up in the modeling about a week and a half ago, but a lot of pages and people are jumping on that stuff, and you can't do that. So what we're jumping on is more of the same, a general above average trend. Remember, our average high is sinking fast this time of year. We're losing more on our average high per week than any other time of year. We're losing about 3 degrees per week on our average. And we know it gets cold in October. We have our first frost. We typically get our first freeze late in the month as well. And as a result, our temperature, our average right now is 73. All right, that's our midpoint. So we could easily have upper 50s for highs and 60s, but we can also just easily go in the 70s, obviously, in the 80s, which we're going to be doing. But notice we stay mild. Where I would cut off the kind of confidence on this is going to be right here around October 6th, okay? So we're good through Sunday. I believe most of these numbers, we're going to be in the 70s and low 80s most of the week, right? Once we get to October 6th, that's where the models start to diverge a little bit in terms of what happens. Euro keeps us a little bit warmer. GFS had some ups and downs earlier today. Let's see what it's doing right now. Here's the latest one. Yeah, so there you go. See, October 6th, GFS had some ups and downs here with the cold spell around the 13th, 14th. So we'll see. We'll see what happens around here. But one thing's for sure, and what the takeaway for this is we've got more beautiful weather in the forecast this week. All right, enjoy it while you can. It's going to be dry. We could use more rain. It's going to continue to be on the dry side. And then we have got to wait until like October 6th, 7th, 8th, and beyond to see some active weather around here. It's definitely going to get more active. We'll have more cold fronts. We'll have some up and down temperatures. And we've got to keep our eye on chunks of air like this because this could get colder, all right, on the modeling. It could also go away on the modeling. So these are the areas in the active weather that we'll start to watch. October can get very active around here, all right? We know that. We typically get our first wind system in the month of October as well. And what I mean by that, we don't have a lot of systems with wind. There's not a lot of deep area low pressures, September and August. October, especially towards Halloween, is typically when we get our first big cold front in here that slaps our temps down and brings a lot of wind, all right? Remember, our Halloween decorations are usually flying all over the place at some point. And so, again, this is when we'll have to kind of put our weather antennas back up once we get to the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and we'll start to have more active weather coming our way. Okay? So that's all I got for you tonight. If you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and throw those out there, and we'll answer those if there are any weather questions from you for sure. Mark, yeah, great weather for the Victory for Veterans motorcycle ride today. Good. That was today then? Yeah, it was perfect weather for you, buddy. Absolutely. Susan, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Deshaun, yeah, so hurricane names and tropical storm names rotate, all right? So I think it's every 6 years, I think it's 6 years or 4, don't quote me on that. I think it's every 6 years. They rotate names to go through the same list. And what happens if a storm is huge and causes a lot of damage, they'll retire that name and replace it. Other than that, we get the same list, all right, I believe it's every 6 years, so there's that. That's sweet, Debbie. I don't have to be the only weatherman for you. I don't need to be, but I would love to be. That would be great. So there's that. Mike is saying October 9th is going to be the big change. That's what he's hearing. A couple weeks ago, Mike, a lot of people were calling for the 3rd and the 4th, and we're not heading there. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting around then. Kathleen, you're absolutely welcome. Jacob, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you spending your time with us tonight. Ethan, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I think strong cold fronts. Boy, I'm not seeing them until mid-October, and that's getting into the month for sure. Baby's doing okay, all right? Everyone's happy, or everyone's healthy. I don't want to say happy. It's been a challenge in our house. It has, with the 5 kids, 9 and under. It's a lot. We don't have like babysitting help or anything like that. Not that we need it. We can do it all of ourselves. But Ethan, it's been a lot for us. It has. I'm very challenged as well, especially towards the end of the week after these crazy schedules. So there's that. Let's see. Janet says, good news. I have back-to-back hay rides Sunday and Monday. So far, it looks pretty good those days, Janet. Absolutely. That sounds like a lot of fun. Ethan, thank you, buddy. Susan, yeah, so we've kind of talked about the fall foliage. That's great that you brought that up. We've kind of talked about it last couple of weeks in terms of how things have gone. So a lot of the trees with this dry weather have been stressed over the last 2 months. And so a lot of them you've noticed have kind of turned colors and they've kind of dropped their leaves prematurely. Even some of them are green, kind of dropping their leaves or giving up. So the way I'm expecting things to go, the rain that we got is going to kind of make things a little bit more vibrant around here. But the way I think things are going to go, and I've said this over the last month or so, is that we've had that first round and it's still kind of going. There's a first round of trees that are kind of giving up and doing their thing. All right. Those are the ones that got stressed. They'll be fine next year. All right. But they're kind of hurting this fall. They haven't had a lot of water. But the trees that are left, all the trees that you see that are green still, or just have a little tint to those, I think those will be just fine. What we do need is we could use another round of rain in here the next week or two, because that's going to help that foliage be a little bit more vibrant. If we don't get the rain the next week or two, then we're going to have a bit duller of a look to our fall foliage season. It's never bad. It's never you're never like, oh, this looks awful. It's still pretty. It's not as vibrant as it could be. You get a lot more golds and browns. Most of the trees will produce the same color every year, right? That's just the way they're naturally, after the chlorophyll shuts out, that's the natural color they produce. It's the same color every year. But those colors won't be quite as vibrant, so you'll notice more of kind of a goldish yellowish brown look versus some of the brighter yellows and some of the brighter reds and stuff like that. And so I don't think it's going to be a great season, but I don't think it's going to be bad. Anything that's green right now should be okay. We should have some good colors for that as well. Yeah, Darren, I think I answered. It's tough. Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's been tricky at our house. It really has been. It's definitely not a vacation. Miss you too, Ethan. I know I missed my morning show, folks. I got to spend some time with the crew today at the Guardians game, so it was nice to see them again. So there's that. All right, guys. Thanks for spending time with me. There's no weather coming our way, and I'm just humbled that you take time out of your schedule to click on your phone or whatever you're watching on. Like, I really do appreciate it. We'll have some active weather coming soon. There's going to be some time soon, I promise, where we're going to need to chat about some things, and we're going to keep you ahead of obviously winter storms and all that stuff, and I'll give you my thoughts on it and forecasts, and we'll get to that season soon. But until then, enjoy this weather. It really has been great, and it's going to continue to be great this week. All right. Don't forget to join us on the radio side of things. X Rock 103.9 Indiana, 105.5 Z, 107.1. We're on there daily with forecasts at noon. We do forecasts in the morning. You'll hear me all day on there as well. And we always have regionweather.com there for you. Those daily email updates will go out to you in the morning. We've been doing a new video format while I'm at home on paternity leave. If you guys like that, feel free to comment. If you don't really like those, you want more of the graphics, I'm happy to do that as well. I would like some feedback on that. But other than that, we'll keep the forecast going here as she goes. All right. You guys have a wonderful week. We'll be with you all week, and we'll talk to you again next Sunday. All right. Thanks, guys.